Hey, what's up guys? So we got the final character trailer for KoF 15 and Elizabeth is looking really good. Not just her redesign, but also the changes they made to her moveset since 13. So let's jump right in and see what we got here. So we have a new command normal, probably Forward A, and it looks like it's going to replace the old command normal Forward B because you don't see it anywhere in the trailer. Instead, you see the new command normal being used in all the combos, and it's probably because Forward B was the same exact animation as the blowback animation in 13, so maybe they're just going back and cleaning up reused animations and getting rid of them. So overall, I don't see this as a major change because it does the same exact thing as the old command normal. Maybe it has less reach, but the only thing that it really affects is trying to use the command normal by itself, which nobody does. So again, not a big deal, but it's a nice cosmetic change. So she also has a new Projectile Special, and to me this is the most surprising addition to anyone's moveset because she's a rushdown anti-projectile character, and now she's gonna have a projectile of her own, which is pretty wild. Anyways, because of the way that they cut this clip, the only thing we could really tell from this move is that it's multi-hit, but it looks like the regular version because you don't see Elizabeth flashing yellow, and if that's the case, then that's really rare for a non-EX projectile. So there has to be some sort of drawback for this move to have this kind of perk. Like for example, does it have a lot of startup time? Does Elizabeth need to stock something before using the projectile? And the way that they're demonstrating this move is interesting because they have Benimaru jumping backward into the projectile instead of jumping forward or jumping straight up. So like, why did they show it off this way? Like, does this move have a suction effect? And I doubt that's the case because that's going to be too good to be true. So we'll just have to kind of test this out in training mode when this game comes out. So another crazy change they made is that her quarter circle forward punch special, which used to just nullify projectiles, now reflects them in 15. So this is interesting because the move by itself is already super good on its own. So for example, the C version in the corner can lead to a huge corner combo, assuming they haven't changed it. The A version can combo from lights. It's a good spacing tool, it can anti-air, and you could spam it to build meter because the startup and recovery time is so fast. So when you consider that the other reflector moves in this game don't have this much utility outside of being a reflector, and secondly that Elizabeth is getting a projectile too, it seems really good for her to also reflect them. So they must have made this move less useful in other areas, like maybe the C version isn't as good anymore in the corner. Well, we'll have to wait and see, but of course they're not going to show how bad it is in the trailer. So here, I don't know if I'm looking at a brand new special, or if this is just a new version of a currently existing special like Kurosaka Forward C. Unfortunately, the trailer doesn't do a good job of showcasing this move. You just see it raw, and then you just see it as an ender for the auto combo. Generally, when you look at a special, you can figure out what the purpose is, like, oh, this is a projectile, this is a launcher, this is an anti-air. But with this move, you can't really tell how this move is functionally different than her Kurosaka forward punches or her DP. Like, what does it do that the other two moves don't do? So I'm really curious to see what the purpose is for this move. Another change they made is that her EX counter now works against projectiles. So she can now reflect projectiles or teleport behind you from full screen. I'm surprised they made the counter work against projectiles because she already has a reflect now. I know in this clip it shows that she's getting a full combo off of this, but that's only because she's using the counter from such a close distance that Andy hasn't recovered in time. Realistically, if you were to try to do this from mid or full screen, the opponent would have recovered in time and you wouldn't get this punish. At that point, you should just reflect instead. Now, even though I said that, I still think this is a crazy change because counters aren't designed to work against projectiles, so the idea is crazy, but it's not crazy good. You shouldn't look at this move and think, oh, she's gonna be busted or anything like that. What I'm more interested in is if they changed any of the properties against non-projectiles. So in 13, this move works against everything except grabs and projectiles, and it puts the opponent in this very brief stun state, and during this moment, Elizabeth can special cancel into anything and it's guaranteed. So I wonder if they're keeping it like that in 15, considering how EX move costs only half a bar now. And finally, we got a new Climax. So in 13, her Climax was a counter, and the only way you could combo into it was to max cancel after her Grand Raphael super. But as a standalone move, the Climax wasn't very useful. So not surprising that SNK changed this move into a hit to align this with everyone else so that she could combo this from a super to EX super. And I'm glad they weren't lazy and actually took the effort to give us something new, and not only new but also useful and better looking. So for some reason they didn't show off her command grab or command dashes. Now this isn't the first time that they didn't show every single move. Like with Athena they didn't show her reflect, but it was in the command list at the Tokyo Game Show demo, and so far they haven't stripped any moves from anybody, so I would be surprised if these moves didn't come back. Like at the very least I would expect the command grab to stay. So final thoughts, she's looking hella good in 15. I'm surprised at some of the changes, to be honest, because she has a projectile, she can reflect projectiles, her EX counter works on projectiles, and she has a new move we're not even sure what it does yet. And honestly I'm curious what motion the fireball is going to be, because she already has a quarter circle forward punch, quarter circle back punch, and a DP motion. So what could the projectile be, like a charge motion? Other than that though, she's looking really good and really fun to play as. And it's not just her, this applies to everyone in the roster. I've said this before in other trailers, but SNK has done such a good job on this roster in terms of giving everyone, new combo routes, bringing back old moves, adding new moves, changing certain moves, to the point where, number one, everyone is super fun to play. They may not be your playstyle, but you'll enjoy trying them out in training mode at the very least. And number two, I do strongly feel that this game is going to be very well balanced. And in my opinion, it's not too early to say this, because we've had the TGS demo, we've had 2 online betas, we understand how the game works, we know that everyone could do a practical half bar combo, 1 bar combo, and so on. And sure, there's going to be some damage differences between characters, but there's going to be a balancing element to it. Like with Terry, he's got insane damage, but it's not easy for him to combo off of lights. Chris, on the other hand, can easily combo from lights, and his mobility is super hard to react to, and even though he doesn't hit as hard as Terry, he's going to get more hits than him. So I don't think you could look at any character in the roster and make an argument that they're seriously lacking in something. Anyways, I think this is it for the analysis videos until we get to the DLC characters. Man, I've been doing this for a whole year, and ever since that Shunei trailer, and it's been a lot of fun sharing my observations, and I hope you guys have enjoyed my attempt at understanding the game and the characters. So when the game comes out, I'll be uploading 4 kinds of videos. So the first will be combo videos, kind of like what I did with the online beta characters. And then number 2, the matches I have with the guys. Number 3, character tutorials. And number 4, general KoF advice, not specific to any character, just things that you should understand about the game and ways you can improve your gameplay. Aside from that though, it doesn't look like we'll be getting a 3rd online beta after all, and hopefully this video ages poorly and they announce that at the Taipei Game Show, but if not, we'll see you in February.